Hello everyone and welcome to Brought to Bear as we are joined by Asgard's Champ.
What's up everyone?
Today we'll be taking a look at the announcements of E3 2021. To begin with, Asgard's Champ, just what did you think of E3 2021?
It was a good one, I thought, actually, overall. There were some parts which I was a bit disappointed with, which I guess we'll probably get into more detail throughout the video. But overall, I quite enjoyed it. It was nice as well because we didn't get an E3 last year, or not much of an E3 anyway. So yeah, nice to actually have a bit more of an event. Yeah.
It's been a crazy few years for basically like every industry on the planet, and
definitely.
Yeah, I'm very much hopeful that a lot of the big events will start to come back. I think this was actually a really good sign, just seeing any life from E3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all these companies all started working remotely, right? Doing it myself, working from home. So there's no reason why, these conferences can't move to a digital space as well. I guess I don't see a reason why not. And this proves that they can do it. So yeah.
I was going to say, quite interestingly, the Tokyo 2020, that was purely online, and that one went really well. Very disappointing for me. I was really hoping to go to that one.
Yeah.
But no, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about E3. So, starting off with some of the big announcements, the one that I was truly humored by, shall we say, Devolver Digital. Now, this is a little bit of a joke presentation, if anything else. For anyone who hasn't seen it, do go check it out. I've lost my sheet of hilarious quotes, but I did just basically end up writing down quotes from everything they said, which I believe started off with "put the coffee down and talk to my face." So that was a lovely start.
It was a good show. It was a good show. They do it every year, actually. They always put together like something that's a bit different. It's quite amusing. They seem to have like carrying on the theme throughout them as well, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I think it was actually really good seeing this. Not so much as just a chance to stand up and say, "Hey, look at these games. They're really cool," but to actually give a bit of flavor to the company and really show people this is who we are. This is what we're like.
Yeah, definitely. I was going on the. Yeah. I was on their website as well, and they've like the whole design of the website is like it's like that as well now. Like it's
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's good.
Do they have the purple suits?
I think it's more just like it's set up like an old.
It is as well.
Old computer, if you know what I mean.
Devolver Max
cool.
Plus.
Yeah, I liked it. It's cool.
Okay, that's amazing. Yes, but we might love the presentation, but what did you think of the games? That's the big one.
Yeah, I thought they showed some really cool stuff actually. There wasn't a ton of games, but I mean they're a small publisher, right? So it's not going to be masses. But like they opened with Shadow Warrior 3. I've not really played these games very much, but it looked great. Like it was like almost like Doom a little bit. Just absolutely bonkers, over the top, running around shooting everything.
So have you not played like any of the Shadow Warriors?
I think I've played the first one like a tiny bit.
I was going to say the very first Shadow Warrior was like back in the days of I can't remember the name of the engine, but it was the one that like Doom, Duke Nukem 3D, that is. They were all built off the back of this engine. I think it's called the Build engine.
Okay.
But that's
I might have told the lie there.
Classic.
Yeah, I think it was the second one that I played because it was the one that was more recent than that. I think
like proper 3D, genuine graphics, not a. I guess they were sprites back then. It was all pixelated. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah. But it opened with Shadow Warrior 3. That was a nice opening, I thought, to the show. Yeah.
It was a nice opening, but I'm glad you brought up that it really did look like Doom, to the point. Because I was watching this while I was at work. All the official announcements came at like 4 a.m. here in Japan. And I thought I'd flicked over by accident and I was just watching a new Doom game.
Yeah.
I mean, take inspiration, but that was a little too close. I'd be intrigued to see a bit more of that game just to see how it differs from the Doom formula.
Yeah. it really did look similar. Like the way he was doing like finishing moves on the enemies and that kind of thing. Like I thought, it's just like Doom. It's just like Doom.
Right, so after that quick little break, technical defects, all is fine. We are totally professional here at Brought to Bear. All the bears are in a line. The sloth is glaring. You understand that joke? Congratulations. But moving on, coming in from Devolver Digital, the big game that I was really intrigued by was Trek to Yomi.
Yeah, that looked awesome. Like it looked like an old like Miyazaki movie or something. It looked great.
Yeah, the visual effects of this were just on point. Like the gameplay actually, I think it's going to be a little bit mundane, but the story, the environment, the narrative looked absolutely fantastic.
Agree, definitely agree. I got Ghost of Tsushima vibes from it. It was awesome.
I'm just trying to remember because there was a game that came out not too long ago that was really, really similar back on the Xbox. What was the old Xbox Live short indie game platform that went downhill so quickly? XBA?
Xbox Live Arcade, right?
Xbox Live Arcade, that's the one I'm thinking. I think Deadlight, that's it. Did you ever play Deadlight?
Yeah, briefly. Yeah.
That's proof of how much impact it meant. But
yeah.
It really did make me think of that. Just the second I was seeing the visuals, the actual gameplay of it. It looks phenomenal, but I am slightly worried they've just like taken this old game that was still good fun, and just changed up the visuals a bit. You know, changed it into what is this? And I know it's based in samurais in Japan, but is it actually based in like feudal Japan? I couldn't quite tell the time period for this.
Okay, it looked like it from what I can remember of the trailer that I saw. That was what I took away from it anyway. I think so. But it just looked really cool. Anything with like sword fighting mechanics is right up my street. So yeah, it's good.
The shadow side scrolling that got me. I don't know why. That just piqued my interest.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice aesthetic, definitely. Yeah.
Go on,
I think out next year. I think they were saying. I don't think they gave a solid release date on that one, but be looking forward to that for sure.
Yes, and that's actually something I wanted to bring up. So many of these games showing up with either no release date or like a release date 2-3 years down the line, and some of them even longer, with almost no gameplay to show off. What?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the decision to present some of these titles?
Well, it's a bit frustrating as gamers. We've waited like an extra year to see any like have an E3, and then when we get it, it's just like not of much substance other than lots of teaser trailers. But I do wonder how much of that is maybe kind of like caused by the whole pandemic situation and everything, and maybe companies have had to put things on hold somewhat, or it's delayed things, which is understandable if that's the case. But I don't know if that is the case. Like, again, people have switched to working from home, and it works. Like, I don't know.
Constantly pushing things back isn't too bad when you're showing off like the full game and you're saying, hey, we need time, we're going to prep. When you show up and say, hey, we're thinking about maybe making a game 10 years down the line, and here's 5 seconds of a trailer that may or may not end up in it.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating for us gamers, I guess. Yeah.
I get annoyed by it. But we're not here to do that. We're here to look at what is coming out. And go on. So one of the big lines for me was Devolver Digital. Which one were you most impressed by? What was your favorite announcement?
On the show? For me, has to be Halo Infinite. I think I've been like really looking forward to this game for a while now. I'm a massive Halo fan. I used to play it so much back in the day, and with Halo 4 and 5, like I didn't really click with them as much as I did like the older ones. I'm not gonna say I was disappointed because I still enjoyed them, I still played them, but it didn't bring back that like Halo feeling that I used to get like back in the day.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I think, or at least I feel like from what we've seen so far, that this new one's going going to be good. I'm hoping, at least, anyway. What they showed was really nice, and I don't know if you saw it. Like 343, they released a sort of separate video as like a multiplayer overview just after the conference.
Yeah, they had a stream running. Only caught a wee glimpse of it because timing, but
yeah.
Go on, take us through. What did they show off in the new feature-wise?
Yeah, it was just so it was all about the multiplayer, right? It's going to be free to play, which I think they mentioned that in the conference, which I think is kind of cool. They're going to have like a battle pass system, which I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with myself, but from what they said, some of the things I don't personally like about battle passes, they seem to have addressed, such as you can actually purchase like a previous battle pass, for example, to get the rewards from that one, which so you don't miss out on it. You know, if you maybe don't get very much time to play that season or whatever, you know, you don't miss out on whatever the rewards were, kind of like that. What else? There was quite a few things they mentioned. I think that was the standout for me though, and just in general, just the game looks great. It looks like classic Halo. So yeah.
No, picking up on that battle pass system, they've been saying like for quite a while now. Following on from this, that basically they want to prevent any form of pay to win. Your battle passes are permanent. They won't time out or anything. You can always go back and get them. So for those people who pay, that's lovely, but it still sounds very pay to win to me. But one of the things they did say, which I think has been confirmed for a while actually, is that the multiplayer is completely free. So I'm really going to be intrigued, because I know, as you said, like the single player just didn't really click since 343 took over. How many players are going to be coming back just to try out that brand new multiplayer and potentially end up jumping in on the game, or maybe just ignoring single player and carrying on as a pure multiplayer? Which draws the big question. Do you think Halo will become like Call of Duty and just go pure multiplayer? And even we've seen Battlefield 2042 is dropping the single player and just going pure multi. Yeah.
I mean, I hope they don't. As a long time fan of Halo, I hope they keep the single player, because I think as far as first person shooters go, it's one of the better like story like campaign modes, single player storylines that you get in like first person shooters. Personally, anyway, that's how I feel. Not everyone will agree with that, I guess. But the multiplayer is what keeps a game like that going, right? So, you know, you play the single player once, maybe twice. And if you really like the game, maybe you play it 3 times, right? But the multiplayer is what you keep coming back for, so they have to hit the nail on the head with that. Making it free to play brings in more players, like you said. And that's only going to be a good thing for the game, because if they keep getting, if they have a bigger player base, then it incentivizes them to keep supporting it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think like business-wise, it's a really good move to make free access. You always give them a taste for free and then make them pay for the rest. But it really has sort of split my mind as to whether they just like split the team and said, okay, you guys go do the single player, the dirty single player developers in the corner sort of thing, and they've been left on their own. I hope they haven't, because well, yeah, I mean, like looking at what they've released, some of those trailers, some of those in-game cutscenes, they look classic Halo. Like Master Chief just chilling around, chatting with Cortana, who I got very confused by, because I suppose that right now we've gone past the point of spoilers. It's been many a year since that last one came out. I thought she was dead. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I only played like the latest Halo, which was 5, I think. I think I played through the story once, and that was like when it first came out, so I don't really remember what happened in it, to be honest. I mean, that's just because I didn't really enjoy it that much. But
in order to understand the story for 5, you needed to have played, like, they had a phone game, and they have all these, you know, the books, the comics, the movies, TV series, and they all link together now. Good luck.
Yeah,
you haven't been keeping up.
I'm not. That's it. I'm not a big fan of that. I do feel like they should keep the story, like, you know,
self-contained.
Play the video games. Yeah, exactly. Because not everyone has the time or the will to like, go out and read the books and the comics and, you know, everything else. It's nice to have little Easter eggs in there from those things for the fans who do like enjoy those things. But not a requirement to understand what's going on. Yeah, you're right about that, definitely.
See, I also kind of feel like I get the whole idea of having like a franchise and a series is to develop a singular narrative. But the narrative of the game itself should still be self-contained enough that you can pick it up and still understand what's going on in the game, even if the broader picture is confusing to you.
Yep.
Yeah, I always think like Halo 2 did a really good job in the first sort of mission or two. You didn't need to have played Halo 1. You knew what was going on. They basically retold you everything, but without getting so ridiculous that if you had completed the first, you weren't shouting at your screen, "Shut up, let's get fighting."
Yeah, exactly. I think all the Halo games up until number like 4 and 5 did that well. I think actually, like Halo Reach, you could pick up and play. Halo 1, obviously, is
that was such a good game.
Like
we need more spin-offs. I want to play ODST.
Oh yeah, ODST, what a great game! I've actually got the Master Chief Collection downloaded the other day, so I can go through them all again.
Oh, that's classic, man. I'd say the only thing is I would go and pick that up, but I've already got like all of them on Xbox, and I'm just sat there like, why would I want to buy them again?
I get the Game Pass, so it comes for free on there on PC and Xbox. So yeah.
True. Yeah, you can get the lovely paid subscription systems to get free access to games.
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking now is just Devolver Digital's going in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
You pay us for your access to this premium content, but the access is for free.
Yeah, it was a great show. Lots of laughs in that one, definitely. Speaking of, did you see the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2? That was kind of a bit of a parody.
I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. Because it was a parody of game showcases that show nothing while showing nothing.
I'll show nothing, exactly. Yeah. And I thought it was clever. I thought it was quite funny.
It was well done, but I was sat there because I've not really. I don't think I've played at all actually. The first one, so I'm just there like, should I be getting this? Should this make sense to me?
Yeah, I didn't really play the first one actually. I think I watched a friend play it. I didn't play it myself, but it's not. I don't think it's a game I'm particularly excited about or anything. But I just thought the trailer was quite funny and it was a bit of a parody.
Which is really weird because that one is kind of flown by me. I'll admit it. But Tiny Tina's, I'm looking forward to that.
It looks cool. Yeah, definitely. Were you much of a fan of Borderlands?
Absolutely adored it.
Okay.
I do think Borderlands had so many issues with if you played by yourself, the game just didn't really stack up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it only took one more friend, and that game was insanely good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think was it Dungeons and Bunkers was the DLC they did for her. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Yeah, if it's anything like that then it should be an absolutely phenomenal game. Not so much because of the gameplay, just that was hilarious start to finish. And they've got full backing in this one. They have actually some pretty big names coming into it, voice acting wise. Yeah, they've put some effort in. This isn't like a cheap run-off, spin-off game. It seems like they actually really went full on to create essentially another Borderlands. I imagine it's more of a reboot, to be honest, because Borderlands 3 I don't think did too great.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't get too much into Borderlands. Not that I disliked it or anything like that. I think just the timing, other things going on. At the time, I just didn't play it really. But this one, with it having like a bit of a fantasy setting, that's what I really love. So I think it kind of appealed to me, definitely. Yeah, this one.
Go on to bring this to a actual publisher's release. Nintendo, the big guys in the corner.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of their announcements? Because they had some big ones this time.
They did. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but I was a little bit disappointed with their show. Only in that they showed lots of stuff, but I didn't feel like much of it was of much substance. If you know what I mean. I think everyone was kind of waiting for. There's like a few big releases or big announcements we're waiting for that they've not given us for years now, like Metroid Prime 4, this 3D open world Pokemon game, which I don't think has a name yet. We got Breath of the Wild 2, so that was good. But it was right at the end of the show, and again, not like what they showed was great, and I really enjoyed what we saw, but it just wasn't much there, right? Yeah, I felt a little bit deflated by the end of the show. But that being said, Breath of the Wild 2 did look great. I really liked the trailer that they showed. Looked awesome. And Mario and Rabbids as well. That's another one that stand out. Yeah.
Yes, we've been chatting a little bit about this actually over on the Discord. I don't know what it is. I think, as I said before, like the Rabbids is the entry point to strategy. It's like was baby's first. It's baby's first strategy. It's baby's first XCOM. Yeah. It looks good. I'm really glad there's a sequel for it because I love the series. I really enjoyed the first one. The only kind of criticism or concern that I have was that it looks like they've changed the mechanics a little bit, so it's not a grid-based system. And it looked like, at least from what they showed in the trailer, it was like you had kind of an area you could move around in on your turn. Yeah, you had like so actually as you move the icon sort of thing, it will measure it out. I actually quite enjoy them. I think they work well. It's a little harder to get into. It definitely took me a while to get used to that sort of thing. Like a grid-based system is restrictive, but it's clear. Whereas with those sort of area of effect, almost area of movement ones, it can be a little confusing and a little trickier to start up. But once you're used to it, there's so much more freedom, and it's actually a lot more immersive, I found.
Okay. I don't hate the idea of it, and I'm sure they'll pull it off, however they do it. I just don't want that to ruin the game because I really enjoyed the first one, so I don't want that to spoil the next one because looking forward to it.
What's really weird is normally I absolutely despise the Rabbids. They're loud, they're annoying, and oh my days are they annoying. Actually, that can't be said enough. But somehow in that game it worked. Like in the original, they had a proper cheeky chappers quality. It was, I don't know, they got away with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like the Rabbids isn't something I knew of them. I'd never played any of the games they were in or anything like that before Mario and Rabbids. But so my kind of first introduction to them was Mario and Rabbids. But yeah, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were awesome. A lot of fun.
I'm just waiting to see now in the background all the Rabbids start to appear in your room. Start accumulating all the plushies.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah.
Well, excellent. I will go back to one thing you mentioned though, saying about the new Metroid. Yes, they didn't announce the Metroid everyone wanted, but they did announce Metroid Dread. And I mean, were you a big fans of like the original Metroidvania? What's it called? Like side-scroller ones?
Yeah, I played the original ones on, was it the Super Nintendo? I think they came out on the SNES or the.
I'm pretty sure they were on the Game Boy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I played them. And back on the Super Nintendo, and I loved them. I thought they were awesome. And I really enjoyed Metroid Prime on the GameCube as well. I think that was where that one launched, the first one. So big fan of that. But for a long time now, I think Metroid Prime was probably the last one I played of any of the kind of Metroid games. Dread looked cool though. I thought the bad guy was a bit creepy, and it was different kind of atmosphere, I guess. You've been like hunted, you've been chased. It was cool.
I think they definitely chose the name right. Like there is a certain element of dread. Like just even as you're watching it, and that crawler thing is like coming up and gathering around as they're scarpering off.
Yeah, it was cool.
I am slightly worried with any of those sort of games where essentially if you get caught, you're dead. It kind of turns into more of a time trial. And in a game like Metroidvania, where you're running around forgetting where you are pretty much the entire game, that is the game. Welcome to Metroidvania. Yeah. I can just see that getting frustrating when you're like turning the wrong... I was going to say turn the wrong corners, but you don't really get that in in a 2D side scroller. I don't know, jumping up the wrong platform or something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it has potential problems in that regard. Hopefully, the hope would be that the designs of the game account for that and kind of change the mechanics up to make it work.
I can just see them just being like, nah, we're gonna keep it as it is, because I mean the fan base of Metroidvanias are usually pretty hardcore. So will a hardcore audience care if a game's difficult?
True. Yeah, that is true. I think as well with this game, I was reading they announced it like 10 years ago or something as a sequel to, is it like Metroid Fusion or something like that? I'd never played it, but and then it just like didn't hear anything for years and years.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't aware of, but I thought that was quite interesting. Then that they're bringing that back before talking about Metroid Prime 4.
You're determined for that one.
I want it. I want Metroid Prime 4.
Well, no doubt coming up soon. But talking about these really old games that are finally getting a bit more of a comeback, Nintendo itself actually is releasing, I'm trying to remember what it's called now, Advanced Wars 1 and 2. They're rebooting that and other titles, which I'm gonna love. I mean, did you ever play any of the old Advanced Wars?
Yeah, a little bit. Not too much though. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't enjoy them that much, and maybe that's crazy as a strategy game fan, not to have enjoyed Advance Wars, because not many people I know don't enjoy them. But yeah, I could never really get into them. I don't know why, to be honest. I can't pinpoint what it was about them I didn't really enjoy. But
just a little side point. Did you ever play Fire Emblem?
No, never played Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Was that similar?
Yeah, like most people I know, if they like Fire Emblem, they like Advance Wars and vice versa. No, that's fair enough. It is very bright, very colorful, which, I mean, it's super cartoony, it's super kid-friendly, and then like everyone dies, which is amazing. Like that's when you know you have a good game.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because at the time I think I was more into like the PC strategy games around the time those were releasing.
I get you.
Which were a bit more in depth and maybe had a bit more to offer for someone of my age at the time. I mean, I don't know exactly when Advance Wars did release, but I'm pretty sure I was like a young teenager at the time.
I'm trying to remember if it was Advance Wars 1 or Advance Wars 2, but it came out on the Game Boy Advance. That's why it was Advanced Wars, as far as I know. At least that's definitely when I got into it.
Yeah, I think that's right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
The main thing I'm thinking about is, once more, we have big games companies saying, hey, we're going to reboot titles. Do you think we're in for a year or two of remasters, and that's all we're going to see?
We're on the back of like 5 years of that, are we, at the moment? Everything seems to be getting remastered these days. I don't mind it. I would rather companies invest their time and resources into new IPs and that kind of thing, personally. The old games still exist and you can still go play them. I don't think they need remastering, really. But I see the point. You're playing on the like nostalgia of old fans of the game, and they can make a lot of money from them, so it makes sense. Yeah,
it definitely makes sense, but it has turned into a system where, like, as I was going through like all these different announcements, all these different games, I kind of realized how many are either continuations of pre-existing series or just remakes, remasters, reboots, whatever, compared to completely brand new original content. I think that's why Trek to Yomi really stood out to me so much, was I was like, oh, this is brand new. I've never seen or heard anything about this. Tell me more. Yeah,
agree, definitely. Yeah, it's always nice to see like a new IP shown at E3, because it doesn't happen very often when there's a good one. So
this is the thing. They had a lot of brand new titles, a lot of new IPs, but it was all of those like, we're going to show you 10 seconds of what could potentially be a trailer maybe in 50 years.
Yeah, and I think one of those games was Redfall, the Xbox conference.
Yes, I was going to bring that one up. I don't even know, Twilight Vampire Hunter Slayer, I don't even know. It looks
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
I'll give them that, but it is sort of like, wait, what? Where is your market here? What are we playing to?
yeah, and again, for release date, they just said it was summer 2022, I think is what they said. Very vague, so that's always subject to change. It could get pushed back quite easily. The thing I'll say about that game in particular, there's a couple of things, I guess, but it's made by Arcane Studios, I think, who did Dishonored and Prey.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming from good stock. They know how to make a good game.
That's
Dishonored.
true. I think that the art style actually did lend itself to it. I mean, I'm taking the mick saying it's all Twilight teenagers, but it kind of almost has that feel, but then someone sort of came over with a lick of paint and just sort of darkened it all up a bit, but like
Yeah. No, I agree. It could be a good game, but until we see more, I'm going to reserve judgment really, because they didn't, it was a cool trailer, but didn't really explain what the game's going to be like. So
I've just realized what it reminded me of: Sunset Overdrive.
yeah.
It's
Don't say
such
that.
the same feel. Did you ever play that? It came out for free on Xbox.
Yeah, again, played a little bit. Didn't really enjoy it.
What was
couldn't get into
hilarious?
it. Yeah.
Like not as in like listening to the characters. God, they just get rid of them. Just mute the game, play some other music, and yeah, just go nuts. Like it was GTA cathartic destruction, but with energy drinks and were they zombies? I can't even remember.
No idea. They were just weird monsters that were basically zombies. Yeah. Back on Redfall though, one thing I found interesting, and I got reminded of this from reading an article about it. I'd forgotten myself, but so there was some rumors going around about like a code name for the new Elder Scrolls game being Redfall a while ago. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, because everyone thought it was the Redfall as in the race in it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Touché.
But yeah, apparently not. It's this game, right? So I guess that puts back into question now Elder Scrolls 6, like,
Well, it's just pushed that even further back.
Well, on that, yeah. That's another conversation there, I think.
Well, no, I'm going to say, on that line, of course, we had Starfield coming out, so I know what I'm all about. I totally know everything about this game. I haven't completely ignored it for looking rubbish. What do you think?
Yeah, again, it was frustrating because, like, with Bethesda, when they started doing their own E3 conference, the first one they did, it was amazing. They were like, right, we've been making Fallout 4. We haven't told you anything about it as of yet. This is a brand new announcement. Oh, and it's coming out later this year. And it was like the greatest thing ever. Since then, what have they released out of their main games, like Fallout 76, I think, a bunch of updates to Elder Scrolls Online. We haven't seen like
and Blades,
another one of their yeah.
Never
about that. But yeah, it's really frustrating. Like I want them to just give us something more than like it was nice seeing like a teaser trailer for the game, but I want to see some gameplay. I want a bit more information. I guess the good thing is they said it was coming out next year, so.
See, this is the reason. Like, I've just brought up Starfield. Yes, coming November 11th, 2022. The reason I just don't really even see it as a game, to be honest, it just looks like an explorer. You're gonna set up in a spaceship, fly around to stars, and look at them and think, "Oh wow, it's so pretty," which some people love. And you know what? Fair play to you. Go forth, enjoy those games. I just don't have any interest in them. They're fun for like the first time you play them, but they have no longevity because once you've explored stuff that you can't explore it again, you can't regain that feeling of awe. It's a one-time only deal, unless you want to pay continually to unlock every planet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know that the trailer. Yeah, it's clear that it's going to be some sort of like exploration-based game, but it is a Bethesda game at the end of the day, and I would hope there'd be some like, nice deep RPG mechanics in there as well to go along with it.
The thing is, you can still do that. You can still do exploration and have that RPG element because you just have like navigation. You'd have repair. If there are other people, I mean. I can't really remember seeing civilizations or anything. Like, I don't know if there'd be bartering or anything in it. Yeah, it's so flimsy
I
because they
hope
just
so.
haven't shown enough.
Yeah, well, exactly. It just leaves it like wide open for speculation, right? But I mean, I guess the good thing is that because it's coming out, or they've announced it's coming out November 11th next year. In with from now until then,
Yeah.
I'm sure we will see more on it, right? They're gonna release more stuff
Yes, I
to show
am
us.
very open to be proven wrong on that one, and I actually hope they do. Bethesda, as you said, like they make some awesome games and some incredible RPGs, but I've seen nothing yet that's particularly got me interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of just want them to like get Starfield out of the way so they can start talking about Elder Scrolls again. That's what I really want to see.
Can you just finish Bethesda and then just give us, number 6? Done.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Thing is, the new Fallout will come out before, just to annoy everyone. Actually, I should ask: are you a Fallout fan or are you a Elder Scrolls fan? Before I insult.
I like them. I like them both, but definitely Elder Scrolls is my favorite of the two. Yeah.
I don't actually think I've met anyone that likes one and does not like the other. Interesting thing. Go on, write in the comments if you like one and not the other. I'm intrigued. Yeah, I think usually everyone has a favorite, and I'm 100% Elder Scrolls. Give me Oblivion over Skyrim any day as well. Give me the old school character progression. I love if you could take the original like Oblivion Morrowind style and put that into the world of Skyrim. So the world is what they did phenomenally.
Yeah.
Such a good game. One day.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah, 6, you never know.
I hope. Oh, I bet it comes out in 2026 just to annoy everyone. On June.
Stop jinxing it.
Hi, welcome back everyone to part 2 of our E3 download review update. I don't even know what to call this. And we are going to have a little look at a scary game. A Plague Tale. Requiem. Well, did you catch anything on the original Plague Tale Innocence? Is it called?
Yeah, Innocence. Yeah. I watched like half of a Let's Play series. I never actually played it myself, but it did look really good. To be fair, like it looked like a good game. The teaser announcement trailer that they showed for the second one looked cool. But again, not much substance, right? Didn't show too much of what the game's going to be like, but you can just assume it's going to be much like the first one, I think.
I think that's a general theme of most of these announcements has been kind of base outline, skeleton of a game. They haven't really shown that much inside them. But yeah, I get what you mean. It's pretty much going to be a Plague Tale 2, which it is. I will say one thing I was actually really, really intrigued by from a technical perspective. How many rats can you fit on a screen at one time without cooking your hard drive?
Yeah. From what I remember,
suppose I should be more modern without cooking your SSD.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, jokes aside, it I guess is a bit of a technical feat, right, to get that looking good. So, fair play to them.
Like it's not even just that it's looking good having the sheer numbers, but they're identifiable. Like if you really look, you can tell that is a ton of rats. It's not just a brown mush with the occasional outline of a rat thrown in. It is actual rats.
Like individual models all running about
yeah,
as opposed to like
like
trick of the eye.
A collective it's like a collective AI procedure that has them all moving in unison. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, particularly when it's in a trailer or something, but when you consider that has to react to the player moving around with light sources and introducing and removing light sources, pretty sharpish, they've got to get on it.
Yeah.
I'm in awe of that game. I've always thought it looked brilliant. Gameplay was a little bit boring in the first one. Not at the start, obviously, it's pretty good, but then it just gets repetitive, and by the end, you're like, please let me finish. Just let me hit A and watch the story.
Was it a particularly long game, the first one? I'm not sure. I never saw it through to the end.
trying to think now, like actual like how much time it took.
Mm.
It's long enough, you know. I think as soon as a game starts weighing on you, whether it's 4 hours or whether it's 20 hours, at that point it's like, right, yeah, you should be getting ready to finish now.
Yeah.
I want to say about 8.
Okay. I'll have to try it out. It's a game that's always kind of interested me actually, but I just never got around to playing it.
It's worth a go, but I would go into it knowing you're playing it for the story and kind of like the spectacle of the situation, not so much for even a particularly difficult like puzzler, because a lot of it's puzzle based, which really surprised me. I suppose it shouldn't really in hindsight. It should have been obvious. You're trying to get around a bunch of rats. It's like dodging lava and stuff. It's a platformer. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, my brain's just been blown. Come on, that was one of the bigger, stranger titles that's coming out. Of course, we do have a few others. Jurassic World Evolution 2 to join in on those glorious number 2s. From a T-Rex, no less. What do you think of what are they called? Is it Theme Park World that is based off, or it was like Zoo Tycoon? That was it. Planet
Zoo. Planet Zoo. That's the
okay.
Frontier make the game, and I'm sure it's Planet Zoo is the one that is they make that as well. Did they do City Skylines as well? Maybe. I think.
I'm going to be honest, all those games blur into one for me, and never got into them. I played...
Fair enough.
Which one did I play? I think I played, Roller Coaster Tycoon or something, like way back. No, Theme Park World, that was it, way back in the day.
Theme Park. Yeah, that's an old but a classic.
Yeah. But never actually had the game, just had the demo. And just played the heck out of it.
Interesting. Well, with Jurassic World Evolution 2, I played the first one. I really enjoyed the first one, but it definitely felt like it was more of a not dumbed down necessarily, but a smaller scale version of like their other games. Like, I'm sure it's Planet Zoo. I'm sure I'm not wrong about that. But like that game is vast and so much customization. There's like so many different animals you can get in your zoo. It's like a really in-depth game, and I feel like the Jurassic World version of that should be equally, or could be equally as have as much depth as those ones as well. So I'm hoping that's what they bring to the number 2. I'm really hoping that's what it is. Again, from reading about it, it does say that I think the developers are saying that that's kind of what they're doing. They're increasing the amount of customization and amount of dinosaurs and stuff like that you can have. That's good.
Because you would have thought with a game based on a series which is entirely about just randomly splicing DNA, that would kind of be the whole point of the game, is to randomly splice DNA and then put little holes in your fences and let the raptors out. Because, you know, like, I think this is why I never clicked with those games, because I could never find fun in just building a good park. It was always, I'm going to build this, hit save, and then destroy everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way to play.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for it as well? I think it was like Jeff Goldblum was doing the voiceover on the trailer.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
See, this is where you find out how amazing a teacher I am. I was watching it under a desk, so I had no volume.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for that one. I think, again, I'd like to see more about it, but without sound like a broken record.
Well, I was going to say, I just looked up. It is by Frontier Developments, so yeah, assuming they do what they say, assuming they're taking what they've learned from all the other titles, they do quite a few if memory serves. Yeah, they should be able to make this pretty darn good, and with the kind of backing of Jurassic World now, not Jurassic Park. Yeah, it has the potential to develop, especially if there's a new movie. Not that I'm hoping for that or anything. But
there's been like 3 or 4 already, I think. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that one though.
I thought there had only been 2. Have I missed another movie release? But we've also had some amazing stuff coming out in terms of retro games returning. We have had Metal Slug Tactics. What are you thinking of XCOM Metal Slugs combined?
Yeah, I quite like the look of it. I'm not sure it's something I'll pick up if I'm honest though.
Okay.
The only reason being, I just feel like, what can they bring to the genre? Or it's cool that it's a Metal Slug game within the like turn-based strategy genre. That's cool,
True.
but the trailer didn't look like they're really bringing anything other than what you can get in XCOM, for example.
Well, they do have some additional mechanics. I'm not quite sure what they've called it, but you have some kind of meter that builds up and allows you to perform special actions, and that's the one where you see them like knocking down a bridge. You also have combos, so when you're attacking with one character, you can chain it into another character's actions to finish off the enemy. The thing is, like, I'm saying that compared to XCOM, compared to other turn-based, tile-based combat games, literally everything has been done. It's just all slight tweaks and changes to them. But, I mean, let's look at Jurassic World Evolution again. Like, isn't that just the same game? You can't really change the formula that much. You can't reinvent the wheel, you know?
I think what I mean by that though is that I don't like Metal Slug enough to
to look past
to
it,
want to want to play it, right? I mean, you can put existing like IPs in new genres like this, but if you're not really that bothered about that IP, then which I'm not too attached to Metal Slug. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. Like, I definitely think whenever you get any form of like combination title, I think great examples with was it SNK, SVK Chaos, SVC Chaos? Yeah, it was SNK versus Capcom, SVC. Yeah, I remember. That sort of thing is it's literally taking the two groups and trying to bring them together, trying to like, I kind of want to say draw upon the nostalgia a little bit, but it's more like loyalty, brand loyalty.
Yeah.
But I don't have that much loyalty to Metal Slug. The reason I have any interest at all in Metal Slug games is that when I was on holiday, there was an arcade machine, it was for free, and it had Metal Slug on it. So I was like, sweet, okay, I'm just going to play that all the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. I don't think I've ever played it since. But the artwork, like something about pixelated artwork just is forever. Like there's no point where it begins to look bad. It's always going to look good.
Yeah, agree.
And like bringing that into this weird XCOM sort of serious but not really serious Metal Slug, like it seems like it's going to be a fun game, and I'm hoping it's one of those deceptive ones where as you start to bump the difficulty up, they introduce like different objectives and missions and stuff, and it just becomes insanely difficult. So I've played a lot of weird anime crossovers that have been insanely hard to complete. They look so cutesy that you'd never think it.
Yeah, it definitely looks great. Don't get me wrong. It in terms of like the graphics and whatnot, the pixel art, looked really cool. I'll give you an example, like Gears. There was Gears Tactics, right? That came out a year ago now.
Love that game.
I really like Gears of War, so that's a game that I will go. Like I've not played it yet, but I definitely intend to go and play that one because I really like Gears of War. But again, from what I've seen, it's XCOM, right? It's not much different.
No. I'm playing that one over on Twitch. It's coming onto YouTube soon enough, but it's like XCOM on overdrive. You have the standard, so many actions, and you perform those actions, and you end your turn. But there's no set order to those. There's no set number of things. If you want to attack twice and you have 2 action points, go ahead and do it. But the whole point of the game is to chain abilities so that you can get even more action points, and you can like wipe out half the map in a turn if you set it up right.
So there's different like kind of tactical considerations then in that compared to
I mean if you leave it on normal, you can play it exactly like XCOM and you're perfectly fine. But then as you're putting your difficulties up, you need to start looking at, how can I attack this one enemy to lower their health, to have the second character then attack them and gain an action point from doing that, which then gives everyone else an action point because of some ability they have, and it just builds and builds. Yeah.
All right. I think you might have changed my mind on that. Then maybe I'm being a bit flippant when I'm saying it's XCOM. And same with Metal Slug as well. Then.
Well, no, like this is the thing, because I totally understand what you mean. When that game came out, I just looked at it like, oh, I really want to play that. Didn't touch it till it came on sale, and I do think with the Metal Slug one, I'm probably gonna wait for a sale. It looks good, it looks fun, I'm sure I'll love it, but I don't think I'll love it enough to drop like, what, 30, 40 pounds on it?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think I'm in the same camp with that one as well.
But looking at something that I would be willing to drop 50, 60 quid on, Age of Empires 4, we have an actual date of release, October 28th. What did you think of them? That was an incredible trailer.
It was, and I think they did a bit of a showcase maybe a month or two ago as well of the game.
Yeah, they did like a little mini sneak peek.
Yeah, so this wasn't like news to anyone, I don't think, but getting the release date was good. Really looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Age of Empires, so I don't know what else to say really. I'm just really looking forward to it. An updated, a newly updated Age of Empires game is not going to be bad if you're a strategy game fan. So definitely looking forward to it.
Well, I'm gonna delve into it a little because I've just brought it up. The different civilizations we have: Chinese, Delhi Sultanate, English, Mongols, the Abbasid dynasty, and the French, alongside Russian, or Rus as it currently is, and the Holy Roman Empire. I mean, it seems pretty darn diverse right off the bat. I mean, I'm trying to remember back to the old ones, and I think a lot of these factions, because I'm pretty sure all of them have been in the game, they came on as expansion packs. I remember when they came out with it. Is it DLC? Let's call it DLC. It is now anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about Age of Empires, I think, and what was always good about it before is that there's something for everyone in there in terms of the different factions that you can play as and everything. I just love the mechanics of that game. Like, it's an RTS, but it's quite in depth. I love the base building aspects of it. All that. It's just great. I love it. I love Age of Empires. I didn't click with 3 so much. That's why I'm kind of glad this one they're going back to like the medieval period.
3. So one of the things that stood out for me is it kind of looks like Age of Empires 4 is all the previous combined into one. Like you've still got the. I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, maybe I'm completely wrong. No, I am right. Yeah, you still got all the cannons, and you've got the riflemen, or at least the musketmen, present within the game. I'm slightly worried it's going to be like 3, which felt clunky compared to the old ones. Which, I mean, they're super old games, but they still had a smoothness to movement to attacking. There was like a rhythm to that game, whereas 3 felt like you were playing Age of Empires 2 with lag.
Yeah, I never really got on with 3 very well. I think that's a big part of it as well. It wasn't very well optimized, I don't think. And then the setting is just not a part of history I particularly know much about or care much about. So yeah, the medieval period is definitely more on my street. Interestingly, I've not played. So they remastered 1 and 2 as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a full HD remasters of 1, 2, and Age of Mythology.
Yeah, I think they did number 3 as well, right?
They might have.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's. I'm pretty sure it's available to. I'm sure they remastered it. I'm sure they did, or they re-released it at least anyway. But I've not played any of the remastered like Age of Empire games, so I don't know kind of how they run the remasters, but
really nicely.
Yeah,
like really nicely. So I was starting off Age of Empires the original. I haven't played number 2 yet, but the first one, no issues whatsoever, no frame rate problems, no, because it's been broadened into. What was I was playing on 3K actually, a 3K screen. Looked fine, nothing was blurry, nothing was like overly sized or anything.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good, and it bodes well for the new one as well. I think that they're caring about how the optimization goes in the games at the moment. Yeah,
The new one looks beautiful, and
yeah, it really does.
it's actually got me scared because I don't know what it is. Whenever I see a strategy game, particularly like a classic strategy game from back in the day that looks good, they've usually lost everything that made them good. They focus so much on the graphics and making things look nice and modern gen that they kind of forget we played them for the balance. People still play the original Age of Empires 1 and 2 these days. I mean, it's still a competitive scene.
Yeah.
We're not there for the graphics. No one cares.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I'm going to start bringing these up. The system requirements, you don't even need a graphics card for this one by the looks of it. It just says Intel HD 520, but...
Oh, that's like an onboard motherboard card.
I think so, yeah. It's an integrated one, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, that's a little prelude for those of you who've been following E3 of what we might be talking about later. But the next big one, and oh, is it a big one? Massive one. Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, of course, I've covered this on Bear News. I've looked into it. I've given what I've thought of that trailer. Asgard's champ, what's been going on in your head?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a latecomer to the Souls-like genre. Sekiro being the first one that I played and enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually the only one that I've really played, to be honest. But this one looks awesome. Like the trailer just was so cool. The whole aesthetic and the the bad guys and yeah, just really
some of the monsters,
really cool.
some of the bosses.
Yeah, that guy with like 20 arms stuck to one arm is just so creepy and weird. Like it's so ridiculous, but it works. It works in that setting, right? It's
everything works in any Souls game. Like let's take 50 bodies and mash them together. Yeah, that's fine. That'll do as like the intro boss. What's next?
yeah. No, I was really really pleased with that trailer. I mean, we'd seen like bits of footage and stuff before, but it just looked great. I noticed as well there's like they had a mount, so that I guess would suggest the map's going to be much bigger this time. Yeah, which
always dubious about.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that can either be like a great thing,
yeah,
if done well, but can also mean it, just making a map big for the sake of it never goes well.
So from what I've seen going through the trailer, because I've gone through it a few more times since I did the video, it definitely seems like there's a lot of variation in the world. But what I was noticing is I wasn't seeing a whole lot of how they transfers, because it's supposed to be a seamless open world. So how are you supposed to go from like toxic swamps to mountainous they had like a castle on top of a mountain, like up in a corner. I don't really understand how they're going to connect all that. Because even in the original Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, there's a lot of elevation. There's a lot of moving around, like towers and elevators, and like there's actual points where the game is allowed to load the next section. Yeah. If they're really wanting this to be seamless, they're going to have to link all of that in somehow, and in a way that actually works narratively. That's that is definitely the big worry. The map, I think the horse is cool, but I'm dubious as to how that map's gonna run. Yeah.
I mean, given their like pedigree in making these types of games, I wouldn't be too worried, because they know what they're doing.
True. I must admit, I think it's going to be an amazing game pretty much no matter what they do. It is one of those, since they have George R.R. Martin with them as well, if they don't make what is essentially a book within the game, I'm going to be annoyed. I'm expecting writing on everything.
Yeah, you'd hope so, given that George R.R. Martin's involved. You'd hope for a good story, some good writing. Yeah.
And
I want him to finish
just
the books
everyone
as well.
to die.
Yeah.
I think it'll detract him from Game of Thrones. Or Song of Fire and Ice, sorry.
Yeah, stop working on this. Get those last two books written, please. I joke. But
Just,
no,
actually,
yeah,
I would love if he just switched it around and he wrote all the stuff for Elden Ring in the new Songs of Fire and Ice. Sent it to the wrong publishers. That'd be amazing.
I mean, it'd make for an awesome Elden Ring, I guess.
A really confusing one.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's fine. But no, I'm really excited for this one.
Everything they've shown, I think the only things I'd like really want to see now, because we've kind of touched on the mobs in the world. It seems like the mobs are much larger to go inside with this like massive world that you're now inhabiting. I really do just want to see more of the combat and more of the techniques available, because it seems like you've got your standard dodge, roll, jumpy, malarkey. We've also got a lot of stuff from Sekiro brought into it, which I'm really hoping actually increases that pace. Do you think essentially like this is just going to be all the best parts of FromSoft in one game?
I mean, I hope so, because that's going to be amazing if it is. But I would like
Or
to
a
see
bit of a
something new as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but it'd be good to see some sort of unique mechanic in there for Elden Ring. They haven't really, as far as I know, they've not touched on or told us much about how the combat's going to work in this one. But
Yeah, like proper
I'm not too-
actual gameplay.
yeah. But I'm not too bothered about that, because I think you kind of know what you're getting with a Souls-like game, right? And there's just they kind of tend to tweak little things here and there, so I'm sure it'll be good.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yeah, it's annoying on that one because I want to talk more about it, but I'm sort of holding back because we don't want to go full hype on this. Do not want another CD Projekt Red. No offense, Project Red. On something we can talk about that I found gloriously hilarious, and we've kind of mentioned it between us before. I know you haven't looked at it yet, so I want to do the big reveal. Stalker 2.
Yep.
I'll just ask, have you ever played the original Stalker?
No, never played it.
So, phenomenal game, massive open world. Basically was like, I'm trying to think what it was called, kind of like Crisis, like it just ruined computers, so it was a great way to test them. The new requirements, though, have been announced, and oh my days. What would you say, with a game coming out, I'm trying to remember when this is set for release, I don't think they've, we do have a release date. The release date is April 28th of 2022. I can speak English, I swear. What would you say is going to be a minimum requirement for a game essentially just coming out next year?
I mean, most games would, I guess, something like, in terms of a graphics card, would be something like the 9 series maybe as a minimum. In terms of a max, I don't know what cards will be out by that point, so I couldn't say, but or like a recommended spec, but yeah, something like that, I guess. To be honest, I don't really check on requirements too much these days. If it doesn't run on my PC, then oh well. But yeah, go on, tell me.
To be fair, yours is pretty darn good. But let's go through the minimum requirements of a Windows 10 system. An AMD Ryzen 5 1600X or Intel Core i5 7600K combined with 8GB of RAM. I'm just going to look at the NVIDIA one. The NVIDIA one is a GeForce GTX 1060 with 6GB, and they add an additional note: you should use an SSD drive and need 150GB of storage.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's your minimum.
Yeah.
Pretty beefy. The recommended specs: AMD Ryzen 7 3700X or Intel Core i7 9700K. 16GB of RAM with an AMD RX 5700 at 8GB or an RTX 2070 Super at 8GB or a GTX 1080 Ti at 11GB, additional SSD and 150GB of storage.
Yeah, so my machine is like the minimum spec then for that game, basically. And my machine's not bad. Like it's pretty decent.
Like, exactly. Yeah, I'm sat thinking like, wow, I can play like Three Kingdoms on like 3K on Ultra and it's beautiful, and I can barely play this game. And it only
crazy.
comes out next year.
That's mental. I mean, I guess. Go on.
So what I love, if they've said, you should get a 5700 XT or a 2070 Super. From where? Like, where are you supposed to get this graphics card? I'd be tempted to say delay it an extra year.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of. Yeah, that does actually seem like a crazy decision for them to make, because there is actually such a massive shortage and people can't get hold of these cards very easily at the moment.
Yeah,
They're just like cutting the player base down by doing that, really.
I'd imagine the majority of people, like when I've been going on Reddit and stuff, most people I know don't even have a GTX 1080. They're still rocking the old 900s and stuff. As you said, I would expect that to run, like, yeah, maybe not. I'd still expect it to hit kind of leveling around recommended middle ground. But to not even be able to run the minimum specs on one of them, I mean, this game had better be amazing. Not to mention...
I mean, it looked good from the trailer, didn't it? So, I guess...
It looked good. It didn't look real life.
Yeah, true.
150 gig.
The SSD I've got in my machine, I think is like a 256 or something. So that would take up like half of that, basically.
Yeah, straight away,
or more than half. Yeah, just
without updates and without patches. I don't know why it shocked me so much. I think the only reason I can think is that we are just so limited on graphics cards right now, thanks to everything that's gone on. A whole bunch of things have gone on.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the idea of bringing out a game anytime soon, when you know for a fact, as you said, you're cutting your player base because people literally just cannot get access to it. And how many people do you know buy a game knowing they're going to be minimum requirements? I mean, definitely would put me off.
Yeah, definitely same here. I would feel like, yeah, you'd want your machine to like play the game at a decent level, right? Otherwise, why buy it? Why get it?
It's not so much the graphics at that point. When you're looking at a game like Stalker, which is massive, I'm really worried it's just gonna, run 10 frames per second or something. Unless you're at the recommended.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but still, some awesome stuff coming out. Let's have a roundup. Go on. What would you say? E3 2021. What's your final review?
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, enjoyed it very much. Lots of games shown. I think not all of them with very much substance to them. Lots of release dates coming with very vague dates, like later 2022, 2023, and that kind of thing. But some of the games they did show, like we talked about Elden Ring, talked about Halo, Breath of the Wild. Those definitely some really good announcements in there, which I'm very pleased to have seen. I guess, and there's a lot to look forward to. I think go over the next year or so. Yeah,
definitely. I think over the next year or so, we've got a ton of good stuff coming out. I think I was a little disappointed seeing nothing closer, although we do have a good handful of games coming out this year, I should state, just so people know. Just unfortunately not a lot of the games we've covered. But yes, I think the main thing is it's showing E3's back. They are here. They have returned, and fingers crossed next time it comes up, it'll be we hope able to be back in form. But
definitely.
Till then, everyone, it's peace out from me.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for having me as well.
Peace out.